Okay, let's jump right in. Picture this, right? Your dog's just snoozing peacefully, looking super cute, and you're maybe admiring that new houseplant. Adds a nice bit of green.
Mm-hmm.
But like, have you ever actually stopped and thought, hang on, could this plant be bad for my dog?
Yeah, that's the core question for today's deep dive. We've looked into a bunch of really common household plants that, they look great, but they could cause some real trouble if your dog gets a bit too curious, shall we say.
And it's honestly surprising how many common ones are on the list. Some sound totally harmless, but they can cause anything from like a bit of an upset stomach to much, much worse.
Right.
So our mission here really is simple. Just to arm you, if you love plants and your dog, with the info you need to keep things green, but also, safe.
Exactly. We want you to enjoy your plants without that constant background worry. So, what should we start? Maybe aloe vera? It's pretty common.
Aloe vera, yeah, the classic sunburn cedar. I feel like everyone's got a tube of the gel or maybe even the actual plant kicking around.
For sure. And it's great for our skin, that's well known. But for dogs, it's a bit of a different story. The clear gel inside, that's generally okay.
Okay.
But the outer parts, the sort of green rind bit, that has compounds that can cause digestive problems if they eat it.
Oh, okay. So maybe not like a five-alarm fire, but definitely could lead to some discomfort, some tummy issues. Good to know that distinction.
Mm-hmm.
Right, next. How about Hedera helix? Sounds a bit formal.
It does, yeah. That's the botanical name for ivy, often English ivy. And you're right, it doesn't scream danger like, say, poison ivy does.
Right.
But, and this is important, eating Hedera helix can actually be pretty harmful for dogs.
Harmful how? Like skin rash stuff or more internal?
More internal and potentially quite serious. Yeah, ingestion can cause rashes sometimes, but the bigger worry is significant breathing difficulties.
Oh, wow.
And in really severe cases, it's been linked to coma, even paralysis. So this is one you definitely want to keep well out of reach.
Yikes. Okay, duly noted. Let's shift gears to something that sounds, well, peaceful. Mauna Loa, or the peace lily. Lilies are beautiful, but I have heard some are really bad for cats. What about dogs?
That's a good point. You're right to be cautious with lilies in general. It's a huge family, and the toxicity, it varies a lot. The peace lily, the Mauna Loa one, it does have compounds that irritate dogs.
Okay.
So if a dog chews on it, swallows a piece, it can cause pretty immediate irritation. Tongue, lips, makes it painful to swallow and, often triggers vomiting.
Not so peaceful for the poor dog, then.
Oh,
Okay, now, this next one has, like, a million friendly nicknames. Baby Jade, or Japanese rubber plant, Chinese rubber plant, jade tree, dwarf rubber plant, even friendship tree.
Yeah, it sounds like the friendliest plant on the block, doesn't it?
How do I?
Those names definitely don't hint at any danger. But what's kind of weird about baby jade is that we don't actually know the exact toxic component yet.
Really? But we know it is toxic.
Oh, yeah. We've seen the effects when dogs ingest it.
And what kind of effects are we talking about?
Well, things like ataxia that's in coordination, basically, making them seem kind of wobbly.
Oh.
Vomiting is common, too. And more concerningly, it can actually cause their heart rate to slow down, and even signs of depression, like being really sluggish, not interested in anything.
Wow, so despite the cute names, handle with extreme care. It's like a plant in disguise.
Pretty much. Okay, next, Viasori, which also goes by, like you said, a ton of names. Caladium, elephant ear, cape, ape, malanga, pack. They're often really bright and colorful.
Yeah, those big leafy ones. Very eye-catching.
They are, definitely. But that beauty hides a bit of a nasty surprise. Viasori contains these things called oxalate crystals. They're similar to the irritants in Dieffenbachia, which we'll get to in a minute.
Okay, oxalate crystals. What do they do to dogs?
So if a dog chews on or even just mouths the plant, these crystals cause pretty intense irritation. You'll likely see lots of drooling, maybe pawing at the mouth, difficulty swallowing, just general oral pain and discomfort.
Ugh, sounds awful. Another one causing mouth misery. Right, how about silk photos or satin, also called Epipremnum aureum or devil's ivy. That last one definitely gets your attention.
It should, yeah. Devil's ivy is pretty fitting. This plant, it's related to philodendrons, and it contains stuff that's harmful to both dogs and cats.
Okay, so double trouble potential if you've got both. What kind of devilish things does it do?
If they ingest it, it causes, again, that immediate, significant mouth and tongue irritation,
Right.
which then leads to difficulty swallowing, lots of drooling, and usually vomiting in both species.
Really unpleasant all around. Okay, now for one with another dramatic name. Exotica, also known as dumb cane, tropic snow, or Dieffenbachia. That sounds intense.
It is, yeah. Exotica or dumb cane is definitely one you need to be extremely cautious with. Big risk for both dogs and cats. The sap has those needle-shaped calcium oxalate crystals again, and they cause a whole range of pretty severe symptoms right away.
Okay, lay it on us. What are we looking at here?
We're talking immediate, intense swelling and a burning feeling in the tongue and mouth. This can actually cause serious breathing
Oh,
problems.
wow.
You'll also probably see loads of drooling, vomiting, and because it hurts so much and it's swollen, swallowing becomes really difficult. And honestly, if it's a bad reaction and it's not treated, it can potentially be fatal.
That's terrifying. Seriously highlights why we need to know what's in our pots.
Okay.
Okay, next is one that makes me think of warmer climates. Sago palm, Cycas revoluta.
Right, gives off those tropical vibes. But unfortunately, sago palm is probably one of the most toxic plants for dogs that we're discussing. And the critical thing, the really key thing here, is that all parts of it are poisonous.
All parts.
Yep. The seeds, which dogs seem weirdly attracted to, sometimes the leaves, even the roots, everything.
So absolutely no part is safe if a curious dog decides to have a chew.
Exactly. None. Eating any part of a sago palm can have really dire effects. Severe vomiting, diarrhea, and the most frightening one, acute liver failure, which is often fatal. Prevention is just everything with this plant.
Definitely sounds like one to avoid completely if you have a dog.
Yeah.
Okay, now for sow bread, also called cyclamen. Sounds kind of like bread.
It does have a harmless ring to it, doesn't it? And they have those pretty sort of upswept flowers, but don't let that delicate look fool you. Sow bread contains something called cyclamen, which is a toxic saponin. Dangerous for both cats and dogs.
Okay, so this sweet-sounding plant isn't so sweet after all. What trouble does it cause?
Ingesting it can lead to some pretty serious stuff, actually, including seizures, an abnormal heartbeat, diarrhea, and again, that increased drooling or salivation. So despite the nice flowers, not one you want your pet nibbling on.
Absolutely not. Okay, last one on our main list, emerald feather, which again has a bunch of aliases.
Yeah.
Asparagus fern, emerald fern, lace fern, plumosa fern, sprengery fern. Quite the collection.
It is. Lots of names for this one. And while it looks kind of soft and feathery, emerald feather contains a toxin called sapogenin.
It's sapogenin.
Yeah, it's a type of steroid glycoside, causes irritation. The main danger here, though, is usually from the little red berries that the mature plants sometimes produce.
What if a dog thinks those berries look like a snack?
If they eat the berries, it can cause abdominal pain, diarrhea, and vomiting. Also, skin inflammation if they just come into contact with the sap, perhaps.
So maybe not as immediately life-threatening as sago palm or dumb cane, but still going to make your dog feel pretty miserable.
Exactly. It can cause significant discomfort.
Man, that's quite a list of potential dangers. It almost makes you want to give up on houseplants altogether. But hang on, before everyone panics and clears out their windowsills, are there actually some safe, dog-friendly options?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. Don't despair. There are tons of beautiful houseplants that are perfectly safe to have around your dog.
Phew. Okay, like what? Give us some examples.
Sure. Some really good ones are the ponytail palm, true bamboo. You got to make sure it's actual bamboo, not something like lucky bamboo, which is different and toxic. Also, hens and chicks are great. Blue echeveria, Burrow's tail succulents. Those are all generally considered non-toxic for dogs.
That is such a relief.
Yeah.
It's really good to know you don't have to choose between having some greenery indoors and keeping your dog safe.
Exactly. It's not about choosing one or the other. It's just about being informed, knowing what's what, and making, conscious choices about the plants you bring home.
Yeah. So as someone who definitely loves having plants and my dog around, this whole deep dive has been, well, incredibly eye-opening. It really just hammers home how important it is to be aware of these potential risks hiding in plain sight.
Precisely. Just taking that little bit of time to maybe memorize a few of these, or at least learn to recognize the really common dangerous ones we talked about, it could genuinely save your dog from a lot of suffering, or worse.
Absolutely. It's not about being paranoid or having a totally sterile house, right? It's just about being a responsible pet owner, making informed choices to keep our furry family members safe and healthy.
Well said.
So, maybe here's something to think about as we wrap up, considering how surprisingly common some of these dangerous plants actually are. You see them everywhere. Homes, gardens, offices. Maybe one simple change, one small adjustment you could make in your own home, maybe starting today, to make things just that little bit safer for your dog. Definitely food for thought.